ToribashTakeOVer. This is RoboGoat.
This is the one that you're afraid of.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about how you should think when playing Aikido. But the only way to really capture this is to actually play the game whilst talking at the same time. So it's going to be a little tricky. So I have a couple people here with me willing to volunteer. And I'm just going to talk you through how I'm thinking and why I'm doing what I'm doing and kind of the abstract and concrete concepts that's going to be around playing Aikido. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up with a relaxed clap opener, and this is a concept that a lot of people should probably have, is getting low. And as I've talked about before in how to make an opener, I like all my openers to be very reactive. He actually did the same thing I did. I feel very comfortable in this position. If you're a dueler, typically people go with contracted wrist because they think they can get the inside grab. And I want you to notice something, that there are different grip colors here. And I'm going to do a video probably on like Aikido tricks, but what this really means is I'm grabbing his hand, he's not grabbing my hand. And he's grabbing my hand, I'm not grabbing his hand. So I can do that, and you can see now it's his grip color. What that means is if he brings that leg close enough to my right arm, I can actually grab his leg even though my arm is being grabbed by his arm. A lot of people don't know a lot about grips, and so that's why I think it's really important that people have unique grip colors so that you can tell yourself apart from other people. What you're seeing here isn't necessarily the best strategy. I'm not like the best Aikido player or anything like that, but one thing most people tell you to do is get low, and so I'm doing it. That's in almost every mod, and you can see that my toggling of grabs paid off because I grabbed his foot and his leg, which is very strong grabbing positions in terms of how I can easily manipulate him. So that's the point of toggling your grabs. You'll see a lot of really good players toggle their grabs, and it's not just for fun, it's because it can sincerely give you an advantage here. Another thing that he did, which was both really good and it can be really good, but in this case he did it really poorly, was he let go. One crucial concept in Aikido is changing and manipulating the ghost. Oh wow, that actually was really cool of him. Okay, changing and manipulating the ghost so that you become a bit unpredictable. And what that really means is, while there is a certain line where you don't want to do something that doesn't work just because it's unpredictable, you really don't want to follow in one pattern. So always kind of consider how can you adjust the ghost and make people question exactly what you're going to be doing. If you do that right, you can definitely manipulate them in such a way where if they are playing predictable, you can get the easy DQs. I'm not freaking out too much right now. I set the reaction time up a little slow just so that I can talk and play reasonably decent at the same time. Because as I've said before, I don't have high frame rate when I'm recording. And there was the victory. So the things that he did right and wrong are pretty simple. He lifted his leg up, trying to get that sort of kick advantage, but because I was low to the ground, it didn't work. When I got low to the ground, I felt like I could manipulate his momentum, so he wanted to have upwards momentum to avoid disqualification. That's fine. I used that momentum to my advantage, and I manipulated him by going upwards, and that's how he left the dojo. In terms of whether or not that's lifting, I wouldn't really consider it lifting. It's not. If it's lifting, it's fine, because that's the basic premise of Aikido is to win. Obviously, if you've set up some sort of lift kick in order to win the game, rather than using your own adaptive ability, that's bad. But it was actually my adaptive behavior that caused me to win. When someone jumps into the air, you're silly not to lift them, because at least you can get the most out of the situation. When someone makes a poor decision, you have to capitalize on it. if you know for a fact that you're going to play someone that's like really, really weak to shovel, uh, and you really want to like get the win, definitely shovel. It's a matter of what you think is comfortable. So coming into this, I'm seeing he's going with the kick opener again. Typically, once I get good grabs, I raise my shoulders and extend my abs and try to get low to the ground. But I'm working on his pec vulnerability here. Maybe I can get a fracture on the pec. Maybe I can get a fracture on the shoulder. That's how I chose what I was doing. Outside of that, it's nothing very fancy. Uh, I'm not guaranteed anything here. I got a really good grab. Anytime you can get a grab inside the chest or anywhere in this T region, you have a lot of room for manipulation. So I like to go for that. In terms of what my strategy is at this point, it's not really anything. What I'm thinking in my mind is, how can I feel safe? How can I adapt to what he's doing? He's grabbed himself, and obviously that's not a good thing. So what I like to play with is, and I got the fracture on the shoulder there too. What I like to play with is the concept of how can I be reactionary? How can I work with what he's showing me? So again, you're seeing that I'm getting lower to the ground. If I want, I can try to set up a suplex from this position, but it's really not there yet. If you try to suplex too early, all that's going to happen is you're going to lift too early, and you're going to find yourself DQing. Now that I think I have some leverage, I'll go for a lifting type situation where I know that I have the upper hand in that I have both shoulders and he does not. And because shoulders are so integral to lowering and raising yourself, I feel that if it came down to some sort of tripod race, he would be very vulnerable and weak to the whole situation, which is like what many like suplex games kind of revolve around, is like how the two players sort of end up in tripod position and which one lands to the ground sooner. So because he has that broken shoulder and because I have the inside grab on his chest, I feel I have better manipulation of him. And I can control the match from here to there. One thing you notice is that I never really extend and push myself upward until I feel absolutely confident that once I do it, there is no way he isn't going to DQ. And outside of rare situations like right now, I like to extend my abs after the suplex is complete. It kind of causes my body to become a bridge. So the things that he really did wrong was he created his own, outside of the self grab, which was obviously a really big deal, is he let me get the inside grab, which is what a lot of lift kicks do. It sets people up to be very vulnerable to getting grabbed in poor situations. And more importantly, he created momentum rather than working with my own momentum. So that caused me to manipulate his own momentum and win. That's really the key in Aikido, and that's really what I think about when I play Aikido. It's how are they going to use their momentum, and how can I work with it to my advantage. So last but not least, I want to talk about a different option, because there are different options. A lot of people like to go really hyper offensive, and they mock a defensive position from it. So this is something that a dueler would typically do a lot. I've seen Christus 133 use a similar type of situation. They really try to get their leg in early. So they start with the typical grab, but they really want to try to get an easy fracture and start a lift from this position. You know, and the benefit to doing something like this is you are so low when you do it, and you've already got quite a bit of push in you simply by thrusting your body into them. So it's really a decent, useful tool. You can expect it a lot. The problem is what you see here is people over-dedicate. So let me just go back to what I was doing. If you look here, people over-dedicate and would try to lift, but you're really only asking to be suplexed. So you have to understand when to bail out. I know that I can't win under these circumstances. So rather than trying to continue to do the lift, I'm going to pull myself in, and I'm going to make myself as low to the ground and as controlled as possible so that he cannot suplex me, or I will do the best of my ability to do so. Once again, I made sure not to grab myself, which is a really big problem with the contracted wrists. And you're seeing all of these changes that I'm making primarily because I don't want him to extend these hips, relax or extend these knees, raise the shoulders, and then I'm up, and away. So this is staying low as I possibly can, making myself relatively, what's the word I'm looking for? Relatively unsuplexable, if we're going to say that. I'm really going to make sure that I don't extend my knee, because a lot of people would like to explode upwards and extend their knee, but that's only going to send them flying outwards. So I'm not going to do that unless I absolutely have to, which it looks like I may have to. But what you're seeing here is me making sure that I don't cause too much momentum myself, because if I cause too much momentum, then what I'm really asking to do is let him manipulate my momentum, which is why you don't see the explosive extension of the knee. You only saw the relax of the knee. In this type of situation, obviously, I am not in the lead by any chance, but I am fairly confident that the game isn't over right now, which is a lot more than what I could have said had I just allowed myself to be suplexed. At this point, it's just going to be a matter of, can I get the right spins to keep myself afloat? Can I get my contractions in a decent spot? All of this doesn't look too swell for me at the moment, but you know, you have to take the good with the bad, and sometimes you're not going to win. But yeah, looks like I lost. So what I did wrong there was I overcommitted. Even though I tried my best not to, he had a really good defensive stance, and he was able to manipulate my momentum. Had I tried to lift forward, he would have straight suplexed me from the get-go. So it's really important that you understand when to... Well, first of all, that's just proof that you should be you should be reactive, not proactive in Aikido, because you saw what happens when you try to be proactive. And second of all, it goes to show that when you are being proactive, or you need to understand when you need to not commit to a movement. You need to reassess your game plans, and you can't let you be the sole mover of momentum, because as soon as you cause force going that direction, he'll cause force going that direction, and you're going to fly right behind him, and that's how a lot of people lose. The biggest problems you can ever run into when playing Aikido is causing too much momentum yourself, rather than manipulating momentum. The optimal thing that I could have done in that match would have been staying on him so close, and then as he got closer to DQing and trying to suplex me, then I could have exploded by like raising my shoulders, contracting my pecs, extending my hips, and extending my abs. And you can go back to the video and watch where I could have maybe done that. And what will typically happen is people will under-dedicate their time to the suplex, so that they're trying to get the most out of their suplex, and typically you can get a glute DQ or a knee DQ because they simply tried to suplex too late. And that's typically how you can counter a suplex. So these are the basic principles of what I think and how I think when I'm playing Aikido. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Leave a comment down below. If you like my videos, please hit a like button on it. If you want to see more of my videos, you have to subscribe. So subscribe to my channel. It's ToribashTakeOVer. If you have any more video suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And thank you guys so much. Let's make sure Toribash takes over.